Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. I never used to scare easy. I'd lived alone for years, in a house that creaked and groaned like an old man settling into a recliner. The pipes knocked in the winter, the walls sighed when the wind pushed against them, and the floors whispered under my feet no matter how carefully I walked. I told myself I was all it was, just an old house breathing. But then came the night I heard something different. It was late, past midnight, and I was sprawled on the couch, half asleep, TV flickering. A low sound drifted through the house, so soft I almost missed it. It wasn't the pipes. It wasn't the wind. It was a whisper. At first, I thought I imagined it. I turned off the TV, held my breath, listened. Silence. Just the clock ticking on the wall. I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. Too many late nights, too much caffeine. Then I heard again, a rustling sound coming from above me. The attic. A chill prickled the back of my neck. I never used the attic. It was just a cramped, dusty space filled with boxes of junk my grandparents had left behind. And yet, standing there in the middle of my living room, I swore I could feel something watching me from up there. I walked slowly to the hallway, my bare feet soundless against the wooden floor. The attic hatch was directly above me, a simple wooden panel in the ceiling with a pull string hanging down, and it was slightly open, just a crack, but enough. A slow, cold dread settled in my stomach. I knew I hadn't been up there. No one had. That hatch had been closed for as long as I'd lived here. I forced myself to move. It's nothing, I told myself. Just the wind, or maybe I didn't notice it before. I grabbed a broomstick from the corner, my fingers clenched tight around the handle, and reached up, nudging the hatch shut with a firm push. It clicked into place. For a moment, I stood there, exhaling in relief. Then I heard a noise behind me, not from above, from the hallway, a soft shuffling sound. I turned. A man stood there, tall, gaunt, barefoot. His clothes were filthy, clinging to his thin frame like wet rags. His eyes, God, his eyes, were wide, staring, locked onto mine with an intensity that made my skin crawl. His hair hung in greasy strands over his face, and his lips were cracked, half open, as if he was about to say something. But he didn't. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then, as if a switch flipped in my brain, I bolted. I ran for the front door, my hands fumbling with the lock, twisting the knob so hard my knuckles ached. I could hear him behind me, bare feet slapping against the floor. I yanked the door open and burst outside, gasping for air like I just surfaced from deep water. My neighbor, Mark, was outside smoking a cigarette on his porch. Ex-military, built like a damn tank. He saw me, saw my face, and his cigarette hit the ground before I could even speak. What the hell's going on? There's, my voice cracked. I turned to point at the door, but it was closed. Mark didn't ask questions. He grabbed a baseball bat from his porch and stormed inside with me close behind. We searched the entire house, every room, every closet. No one was there, but the attic hatch was wide open. Mark climbed up and poked his head inside, shining his flashlight around. Then he cursed under his breath. There was a sleeping bag, a few crumpled food wrappers, a bottle of water, and a rusted knife. The police came, searched the property, but found nothing. They told me the same thing they tell everyone in situations like this. You probably just startled him. He's long gone now. But here's the thing. That attic, it doesn't have an entrance from the outside. No windows. No vents. The only way in or out is through that hatch in the hallway. So tell me, how long had he been living up there? And how many nights did he stand over my bed while I slept? I moved out a week later. Sold the place at a loss. I didn't care. But even now, years later, in a different home, in a different city, I still feel it sometimes. That prickling sensation at the back of my neck. Like someone is watching. And every night before I sleep, I check the attic. Twice. Story 2. I was 16 the first time I noticed something strange in our house. Small things at first. Too small to matter. A cabinet door left open that I could have sworn I closed. A picture frame slightly tilted, though I didn't remember bumping into it. My phone moved from the exact spot I left it. Forgetfulness. That's what I told myself. But the feeling of unease stuck with me. A whisper at the back of my mind. A shadow lurking just outside my vision. Something wasn't right. Then came a night that changed everything. I was home alone, curled up on the couch with my legs tucked beneath me, scrolling through my phone. The house was silent, save for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the old wooden floors. Then I heard it, jingling, faint at first, barely noticeable over the hush of the night. But it was there, metal softly clinking against metal, just beyond the front door. My heart lurched into my throat. I stared at the door, breath shallow, waiting. The jingling stopped. Then the doorknob twisted. A slow, deliberate turn. A quiet rattle as whoever was outside tried to lock. I couldn't move. I could only sit there, my body frozen, watching the knob twitch left, then right. The lock held, but that didn't calm me, because then I heard something worse. A voice, low, frustrated. Why isn't it working? A hand slapped against the wood, fingers grazing the surface. I could hear it, the roughness of skin against the door. Whoever was out there had a key to my house. A rush of cold panic flooded through me. How? I never gave anyone a key. Neither had my parents. No one, absolutely no one, should have been able to try and unlock my door. My body finally caught up with my mind. I bolted from the couch, nearly tripping over my own feet, and sprinted to the kitchen. My hands shook as I yanked open the drawer and grabbed the biggest knife I could find. The doorknob rattled again, harder this time. Then nothing. Silence stretched. The kind that makes your ears ring, makes your skin crawl. I pressed my back against the counter, gripping the knife so tight my knuckles ached. I stood there listening. 1 minute, 2, 3. I forced myself to move, inching toward the peephole. My breath felt too loud, my heartbeat hammering against my ribs. I peeked outside. Nothing. The porch was empty. The street lights cast long, eerie shadows across the lawn, but there was no one there. No movement. No sound. I didn't sleep that night. The police came, took my statement, walked the perimeter of the house. They found nothing. No footprints. No signs of forced entry. They treated it like a prank. A simple mistake. But it wasn't. Because a week later, my parents found something. We had a spare key, one that we kept hidden under a loose stone in the backyard. It wasn't there anymore. Whoever had tried to get in that night, they had the key the whole time. They had been watching, waiting. We'd changed the locks, got a security system, but it didn't matter. Because no matter how many times I told myself I was safe, I knew the truth. Somewhere out there, he still had a key. Story 3. I was 17 the first time I saw them. It was a babysitting job, nothing special. Mr. and Mrs. Turner were going to some fancy dinner downtown, and I was watching their 6-year-old daughter, Emily. Easy money. The house was old but well kept, 2 stories with a wraparound porch and a fenced yard. The kind of house that looks safe. The kind of house where bad things aren't supposed to happen. Emily was already in bed by 8. She was a quiet kid, barely said more than 5 words the entire evening. I tucked her in, turned on a nightlight shaped like a little glowing moon, and left the door slightly open like she asked. By 10, I was curled up on the couch with a blanket, watching reruns of some sitcom I barely paid attention to. The only sounds were the occasional ticking of the clock and the distant hum of a passing car. And then, at midnight, I heard it. A soft knock, not at the door, at the window. It was so gentle, so deliberate, that at first I thought I imagined it. The TV was on low. My eyes were heavy. Maybe I was just tired. Then it happened again. Knock, knock. My breath caught in my throat. The Turner's house was fenced, a tall iron gate at the front that they always locked before leaving. No one could get into the yard without a key. Slowly, I turned my head toward the living room window, and I saw it. A face, pale and expressionless, pressed against the glass. My mind couldn't process it at first. The features were too smooth, the eyes too wide. It wasn't right. It wasn't human. I gasped and scrambled for my phone, my fingers numb and clumsy. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. And then it was gone, vanished, like it had never been there. The yard outside was empty. The gate was still shut. No footprints in the dirt. I let out a shaky breath, forcing myself to laugh. Just my imagination, I told myself. Just a trick of the light. I sank back onto the couch, trying to calm the tremors in my hands. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The clock on the wall ticked too loud, each second stretching longer than the last. Then, knock, knock. I turned my head slowly, my stomach twisting into knots. There were 2 faces now, side by side, watching, smiling. The skin was waxy, stretched too tight over their skulls. Their mouths were too wide, lips curled in unnatural grins. And their eyes, God, their eyes, they weren't eyes at all. Just black, empty holes. A scream clawed its way up my throat, but I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then I heard something else. Footsteps from upstairs, right outside Emily's room. The spell broke. I grabbed my phone and bolted. My only thought, Emily. I took the stairs 2 at a time, my pulse hammering so hard I thought I might pass out. Her door was open wider than before, and Emily was sitting up in bed, staring at the dark hallway. "Did you see them?" she whispered. I felt my stomach drop. My fingers fumbled for the light switch, and when the room flooded with warm yellow light, my breath caught in my throat. The closet door was open, just a crack. I couldn't move, couldn't think. The air felt thick, suffocating. Then from inside the closet, I heard it, breathing, shallow, raspy, waiting. I grabbed Emily, yanking her into my arms, and ran. I didn't stop until we were in the bathroom, the only room with a lock. I pressed my ear to the door. Nothing, just silence. And then, knock, knock, from inside the bathroom. I don't remember screaming, but suddenly, the police were there. The Turners had come home to find me sobbing on the floor, still clutching Emily. The officers searched the house. They found muddy footprints outside the living room window, leading toward the woods. But here's the part that still haunts me. There were 3 sets of footprints. I only saw 2 faces. To this day, I wonder, where was the third person? And were they already inside the house?